Lucy is one of the best, if not the best support characters on the version 1.0 release roster. She's one of the easiest to use support characters, with the ability to provide all of her buffs with mere seconds of field time. But the real main benefit to Lucy is that she's able to do all this while being built as a DPS character. So not only are you benefiting from your main character getting massive attack and crit buffs, you're also able to do this.
Chop chop, nothing to it. Direct hit.
Yes, that's over 700,000 damage in a few seconds of field time that you just saw in Shiyu. With Lucy on my team, it's not rare to see her swapping in to unload over 100,000 damage before swapping back out to my carry. And the wildest thing about all this is that my Lucy isn't running some kind of meme build. This is just how you're supposed to gear an endgame Lucy, and it's absolutely wonderful to see. So with that said, let's go over Lucy's kit and see how you can get your Lucy to drop bombs while also buffing the crap out of your party. So the first thing we should look at in Lucy's kit is her core passives. So Lucy runs around on field with a single boar pet. This little piggy here doesn't do anything initially, but with her core passive Crimson Main Guard, Lucy is able to summon 2 additional piggies after she uses her EX special or regular special, after which the first piggy will also start attacking. So this gives her 3 pigs on the field that will help attack nearby enemies. These little pigs also persist for the duration of the fight, so they'll continue to attack even when Lucy is off field, providing a small amount of additional off-field sub DPS. The pigs can attack from melee range with a bat or from long range with a crossbow, and they'll also sometimes do a whirlwind attack for more rapid damage whenever they get a Chiron buff. On the note of Chiron, these pigs will also gain additional buffs from the Chiron effect at 200% of the value at level 6. The Chiron effect is the main component of Lucy as an attack buffer, and we'll take a look at this a little later. On the other side of her core skills, we've got her additional ability, Batter Up. So this activates whenever Lucy is in a squad with the same faction or element, and it lets her pigs inherit Lucy's own crit rate and crit damage values. So this helps add on to Lucy's value as an off-field sub DPS character. So Lucy's basic attack is a 4-button attack string. Her first 2 basic attacks deal physical damage, with the third dealing both physical and fire after she kicks her pig at the enemy. The 4th basic attack has her deal fire damage from 2 swings of a bat. So after unloading the 4th attack, if you continue to press attack, Lucy will instead perform her alternate 3rd attack, which has her deal physical damage through a frontal spinning attack, and then it chains into her 4th attack again. You can keep on pressing the attack button here and Lucy will loop her 3rd hit into her 4th hit endlessly. This builds energy up incredibly fast, but you likely won't have too many opportunities to use this, as this time is better spent swapping over to your main DPS instead. Now Lucy's special is the hero of her kit. This is where all the magic happens. Pressing this special attack has Lucy perform a line drive attack, which has her hit her pig straight ahead, dealing a large amount of damage. Pressing and holding the special attack, however, will have her hit her pig up into the air and then have it fall down after a couple seconds onto the enemy. This takes a little longer to occur, but it does net you additional damage and additional days. The EX variant of her specials function similarly, but they do provide a number of additional benefits. So on top of dealing far more damage, it also makes Lucy invulnerable throughout the entire animation. This is incredibly useful, allowing you to use her EX specials as a way to iframe out of big attacks, while also countering with your own huge nuke. Additionally, after using an EX special, you're also going to trigger the Chiron buff for the entire squad, which grants them up to a maximum of 600 bonus attack, based on a percentage of Lucy's own attack. The conversion is 22.6% of Lucy's attack plus 88 at level 12, so you're looking at just under 2300 attack on your in-combat stats in order to max out this attack buff. This is actually pretty easy to hit, and we'll look more into it a little later. Also, because Lucy is a support type character, she shares a characteristic that all support characters have in their EX specials, in which every EX special will also trigger a reactive assist. So this can be seen at the bottom right corner of the screen, and it allows the next character in line to swap in. This is perfect for us because it allows Lucy to quickly swap in, use her EX skill and thus buffing the entire squad, before reactive assisting out onto our main DPS, getting them back onto the field to make use of this buff. This is incredibly powerful because unlike support characters like Sokaku and Arena who need to ramp up their team buffs with field time, Lucy's able to come in, get her entire buff out with a single EX skill before swapping out. Not to mention, doing so will still leave her pigs out on the field to continue dealing damage. These pigs are also now rocking 1200 attack bonus thanks to her core passive. And then we've got her ultimate, Walk Off Home Run, and this is an absolutely insane nuke for a support character. At level 12, this ultimate deals 3,437% damage multiplier. At level 16, this deals 4,062 damage. To put this into perspective, Ellen's ultimate at level 12 has a multiplier of 3,781. And then the thing that really pushes this ultimate over the line is that because Lucy is a support character, her ultimate also gives your entire squad 10 energy and then an additional 20 energy to the next character that swaps in. So that's 30 energy on your on-field DPS on top of a 4,000 damage multiplier attack. Talk about busted. So the rest of her kit in terms of her dodge attacks and assist swap-ins function very similarly to the rest of the cast, so we won't waste too much time looking at that. To summarize in terms of leveling priority, Lucy is really easy to build. All we really care about is her core skill to maximize her attack buff, and then her skill. Depending on the team that you're running her in, if she's going to be your main ultimate user, then you also want to be leveling her ultimate. Her swapping abilities will then be next after this, as they provide a pretty nice amount of damage thanks to the amount of times that you'll be swapping in and out of Lucy. And then her dodge and basic attacks will have the lowest priority, as we really don't want to be wasting too much field time with Lucy on the field. Okay, now let's take a look at how to use Lucy in a team. When setting up your team order, because Lucy is going to be reactive assisting in the next character, you always want her to go right before your main DPS. So in this example here with my Nikomata team comp, I have Lucy in slot 3 so that she assists in slot 1, bringing Nikomata onto the field. In terms of her optimal combo when played on a team, it's going to be dead easy. You have two options depending on the type of fight that you're in, and the most common one is going to see you bring Lucy in either via a parry or a chain attack. Either way, what you want to do is launch an EX flyball at the enemy, holding down special and then swapping off via reactive assist. That's it. That's all the field time that you're going to need to maximize your Lucy. You can see here that I'm dealing over 100,000 damage with barely 2 seconds of field time, and then I'm bringing in my Nikomata onto the field with 600 attack to finish off the fight. Alternatively, your other option is to swap Lucy in and perform an EX fly ball into an EX line drive before swapping out. This is going to be your highest damage combo. You can see here in this example, Lucy does over 250,000 damage during her field time. The thing about this rotation though is that it's going to cost a lot of energy. So you're going to find that you might not have enough energy on your next rotation to get off another EX special. I would only do this if it's going to be a short fight or if you want to maximize the amount of damage that you can get out in the smallest window possible, because this will affect your rotation over the long term due to its energy cost. So let's take a look at what characters can go well with Lucy. And here's the good news. Lucy is an incredibly flexible character and she can pretty much slot into any team that would make benefit of her attack buff. Her additional ability isn't really that important and it adds quite a negligible amount of damage, so you don't have to worry too much about slotting her into a team with the same faction or element to make use of her kit. That said though, someone like Soldier 11 does really well with her since they're mutually beneficial to each other, with both of them being fire. Nikomata can also do really well with her, with Piper slotting in as the third character since she'll activate both Nikomata and Lucy's passives. I even prefer running Lucy over Sokaku on an Ellen team simply due to how little field time she requires compared to Sokaku. Now, let's take a look at her mindscapes. And boy oh boy, Lucy just keeps on winning. Every single one of her mindscapes are great, with each one improving a different facet of her many roles. M1 lets her pigs regenerate 2 energy for her whenever they launch a spinning swing attack. So this is the attack that gets launched every time Lucy applies a Chiron buff or lands the 4th hit of her basic attack. So every pig recovers 2 energy, so with 3 pigs that's 6 energy every 15 seconds. Her M2 is just a really nice quality of life buff that covers you for those moments where you're just short of energy to land an EX special. It makes it so that the Chiron buff is applied to your team every time you perform a chain attack or an ultimate. While this only lasts 10 seconds instead of the 15 seconds that you would normally get from a flyball, it still is really nice to keep your buff topped up for when you don't have enough energy. Lucy's M4 is another really great mindscape that simply further enhances her team buffing role. This lets her grant an additional 10% crit damage on top of the attack buff. And while 10% crit damage isn't a huge amount, it is an unconditional increase to her buff, so I'm not going to complain about that. And then lastly, we've got her M6, which is just such a fun mindscape. Not only does it make Lucy excel at her role of being an off-field sub-DPS, it also further boosts her Chiron buff, taking its total duration from its base 15 seconds up to a maximum of 30 seconds. This mindscape causes pigs to rain down from the sky every time your on-field DPS uses an EX special attack while under the effect of Chiron. Whenever this happens, you also add another 5 seconds of your Chiron buff, and this can occur up to 3 times for a total of 15 additional seconds. And then if you think that's it, there's more. Every single time the explosion is triggered, it causes the on-field pigs to do a spinning attack, which in turn triggers Lucy's M1, granting her more energy. I mean, seriously, is this an A rank character? Okay, now onto the topic of best disc drives. Her best set by far is going to be Swing Jazz, on the caveat that you're able to hit your attack breakpoints. If we're just looking at Lucy on her own, then with a level 12 skill, she's going to need about 2300 attack to get the full 600 attack buff off. This is going to be a little bit less depending on the team and weapons that you run, as there are quite a few different sources of attack bonuses in the game. That said though, all of that aside, the 4-piece bonus of the Swing Jazz set is going to provide your entire team with the biggest damage boost, with an increase of 15% damage every time you launch a chain attack or an ultimate. Alternatively, if you do find yourself struggling to hit your attack breakpoints, Hormone Punk is a great set. The 2-piece set here gives you an extra 10% attack, and the 4-piece set grants you 25% bonus attack for 10 seconds after swapping in. This 25% is a percentage of your total attack value and not just your base attack, so that's a huge buff. This means that you'll be able to hit your attack breakpoints with just a little over 1800 sheet attack, making it very easy for you to cap out your attack buff. Whatever set you decide to go with, your best 2-piece set bonuses are going to be really flexible, with options ranging from either Swing Jazz for 20% energy regen, Hormone Punk for an extra 10% attack, Woodpecker Electro for more crit rate, Puffer Electro for penetration ratio, or Inferno Metal for fire damage. In terms of substats, this is once again going to be dependent on your breakpoint. For Lucy, getting your on-field attack to around 2300 is going to be your main priority. And then once you achieve that, pretty much what you want to focus on are DPS stats. So in terms of substats, that's going to be a priority on attack percentage until you hit your breakpoint, and then crit rate and crit damage depending on your ratios, followed by penetration. For your main slots, your D4 is going to be crit rate or crit damage, although you can get away with attack here if you need to hit your breakpoints. For your D5, this is pretty much always going to be attack percentage, unless you somehow have insane attack stats on your other pieces. And then for your D6, this is going to be flexible. If you're running a weapon that already grants you energy regen, such as Lucy's signature weapon, then you can get away with another attack disc here, as Lucy doesn't actually need that much energy regen to perform her full rotation. If you're running with a weapon that grants attack percentage though, then you're better off running energy regen in this slot. And now finally, let's take a look at your engine choices. So Lucy's best weapon is going to be her signature engine, Kaboom the Cannon. This weapon grants energy regen, which lets you get away with running an attack percentage in your D6 slot if you need help hitting those breakpoints. Its passive also gives you some additional attack, with it granting 2.5% attack per stack for 8 seconds with a maximum of 4 stacks for a total of 10% bonus attack. So you'll be able to get 1 stack for every friendly unit that hits an enemy. With each friendly unit only able to apply 1 stack at most, this does mean that your Bang Boo is included in that count. So with your main DPS on field along with your Bang Boo, and Lucy having her pigs persisting outside of her turn, this means that you'll always have 3 stacks active at all times, making it a really good weapon. Now, in terms of other A rank options, if you've been pulling on Ellen's banner, you might have a few Bashful Demons lying around, so this weapon here is Sokaku's signature, and while its passive kinda sucks for Lucy, it does grant attack bonus, so you can use it as a pure stat stick to hit your attack thresholds. Outside of the ice damage, the passive also gives you 2% attack whenever you launch an EX special, stacking up to 4 times. So this is pretty hard for Lucy to make full use of, and you can expect to really only ever have 1 or 2 stacks of this up at any one time. And then in terms of B rank options, you have either Reverb Mark 1, which gives you some attack percentage along with a boost to impact for the squad, or Reverb Mark 2, which grants you energy regen along with a boost to Anomaly Mastery and Proficiency to the squad. And so that's it. I've got to say, out of the entire roster so far, he has got to be my favourite character. And with only 2 Sons of Caleron characters on the roster so far, it's safe to say that her value is just going to increase further as we get introduced to some more limited S-ranked characters that are either Fire or from the Sons of Caleron faction. So if you have her, I highly recommend investing in her, you definitely won't regret it. So if there's anything else I've missed, or if you got any questions, let me know down in the comments. If you like the character guide content that I make, then please help support the channel by giving it a like. Thanks guys.